You weren't blocked by a lack of talent or inspiration. No, you were shackled by deeply ingrained erroneous beliefs about the very nature of creativity. And it is these false notions that relentlessly suffocate your flow, cutting off vital oxygen to your muse. There exists that moment of piercing silence, painfully familiar to every creator, every dreamer, and every deep thinker. It's when you freeze before a pristine canvas, before a blinking cursor on an empty screen, with a guitar in your hands, a camera to your eye, or with an undeveloped idea in your head. And it just doesn't come to life. That spark, that invisible magic, that one thing that should have poured out of you. And that's when, from the depths of your consciousness, an insidious, persistent whisper rises. By now, you should have surpassed yourself. You begin to desperately convince yourself, I need to break through, push harder, find that inspiration no matter what. It is at this very moment that you irrevocably lose the thread, not because you lack gift, spark, or potential. No. But because you are violating the process itself. You stand before your muse like an unyielding overseer, cross your arms and authoritatively, coldly command, dance. But allow me to reveal a paradox to you, one that, if you dare to embrace it, can turn your entire understanding of creativity on its head. What if the very desire to be creative, this feverish attempt to switch on creativity, is not its cause, but its primary blockage? As Carl Jung, the great Swiss psychiatrist, a mystic by calling and a visionary who always remained in the shadows, astutely observed, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This went far beyond ordinary therapy. It was about finding your authentic wholeness. And as we will soon discover, it is in this wholeness that the true nature of creativity lies. Forget the myth that creativity is some divine golden ray descending from the heavens, pure, immaculate, and always shining. In reality, it is far more earthly, raw, sometimes painful, deeply hidden, and piercingly human. And yet we ourselves have built a wall of expectations around creativity, creating this exhausting myth. It must be flawless, brilliant, worthy of universal admiration. But what if it is precisely this false idea that shackles us, making us feel hopelessly stuck? We will delve into Carl Jung's radical yet incredibly powerful idea of the shadow, those rejected, deeply suppressed, uncomfortable parts of our psyche. And you will see how its integration becomes not just a healing therapy, but an authentic creative liberation. We will explore why allowing ourselves to fully experience sadness, grief, fear, all those chaotic, undesirable emotions we so diligently hide, actually opens a portal to your most intimate and profound ideas. And finally, we will break down why the belief in needing to invent something absolutely new and unprecedented is just another trap holding you back from true self-expression. True creativity is nothing less than the skillful reorganization of what already exists around us, from the humblest cup on your table to the intrusive memories whispering in the depths of your soul. We will delve into the deepest depths of human psychology to understand how grasping true human aspirations and needs can unlock an inexhaustible source of ideas for art, business, captivating stories, and brilliant solutions. However, before rushing for solutions, let's pause. For the problem itself is sacred. It is your starting point, your foundation. So if you have ever felt not creative enough, unoriginal, or simply not in the mood, allow yourself to continue reading this. What you discover here can forever change your perspective on the very concept of creativity. In the creative world, there's an invisible yet palpable pressure, like a dense fog that envelops us. It's an unspoken demand. Everything we create must be exclusively positive, inspiring, impeccably brilliant, and undeniably worthy. We strive to write text that uplifts, paint a picture that captivates, utter words full of wisdom, become a person who inspires. But there's an uncomfortable truth no one dares to speak aloud. It is precisely this insistent pressure that ruthlessly suffocates our true creativity. Carl Jung astutely called this the persona, that very mask we wear for the world. It is not our true essence, but rather a carefully constructed image, the person we think we should be rather than who we are in reality. And unwittingly, many of us try to create through this persona. We sit down to write, build, or imagine, and unconsciously ask ourselves anxiety-ridden questions. Will this look good enough? Will they like me? Is this perfect enough? And this inevitably leads to what I call creative paralysis. Then your inner critic takes the reins, silencing everything. The wild, instinctive, sometimes chaotic facets of your being, the true artists within, retreat fearfully into the shadows. They know where flawlessness and perfection are demanded, they simply cannot survive, cannot manifest. Carl Jung also spoke of the shadow, those intimate, sometimes frightening parts of ourselves that we once rejected, condemned, or deeply buried. This is our unprocessed sorrow, our crippling fear, our hidden insecurity, our biting envy, our burning shame, our untamed rage. In a world where creativity is expected to be only positive, these parts are not merely unwelcome, they are completely exiled, driven into the darkest corners of the soul. But the truth, piercing and undeniable, is this: true living art resides in this shadow. If you are craving to create something original, powerful, piercingly real, then dare to. Give your sorrow a voice. Let your fear tell its story. Let those parts of yourself you've buried finally create. Every song that tore your heart apart sprang from deep grief. Every film that made you weep grew from pain. Every painting that awakened primal feelings within you was created by someone who didn't strive for perfection, but dared to be brutally honest. You don't need to wait for inspiration for a great novel. Perhaps your day was unbearably difficult. Perhaps you simply feel lost, out of sorts. Even this is invaluable fuel for creativity. Take that fog in your soul, that aching pain, and let them pour through the lines of a poem. Let your voice tremble with emotion in a song. Let your journal become the keeper of the truth you feared to speak aloud. This isn't just creativity. It's art. It's a living story. It's pure alchemy of the soul. And here's where the true magic lies. When we allow ourselves to feel without fear of judgment, we open an inexhaustible flow. Creative block dissolves not because we forced our way through it, but because we stopped resisting the very essence of our being. Creativity is not a performance for the public. It's an intimate dialogue with oneself. And when we create from this profound place, not to be seen, but to be deeply felt, our work becomes something sacred, something truly human. Let's clarify one important thing once and for all. You have never needed to invent something from absolute nothing. The deeply ingrained myth that creativity means being completely original, pulling a masterpiece out of thin air, or creating something utterly unprecedented has done more harm to creative souls than almost any other false belief. If you have ever felt this burden, feeling that you must be a genius, a visionary, or an inexhaustible idea-generating machine to be considered creative, stop. Take a breath. Because here is the great truth many overlook. Nothing you create is truly original, and therein lies its incredible power. Consider this. Your thoughts, your unique style, your ideas, your distinct perspective on the world, all of it is woven from countless threads of what you've seen, heard, felt, and experienced. And this isn't deception. It's not plagiarism. It's being human. Carl Jung, the great thinker, gave this phenomenon a name: the collective unconscious. It is a vast, bottomless repository of shared symbols, ancient stories, dreams, and energies that invisibly flows through each of us. We don't create from ourselves as if from a void. We create through ourselves, becoming conduits. We are channels, vessels, and unique filters. The true essence of creativity lies in recognizing what already exists around you, and then reassembling, reinterpreting it in a way that screams, whispers, sings, "This is me. This is mine." Let's start with the simplest thing. Look around you right now. There's that notebook on your desk. Now recall that strange, fragmented conversation that accidentally reached you in a cozy coffee shop. And of course, that old, faded photograph on your wall. Mentally connect them. Add to this a story you just read in the vast expanse of the internet. Recall that reel share trend you love, but deep down, you feel it lacks sincerity, depth. Mix it all together, and let it transform into your own living, breathing sketch. This is what true creativity is. It's not the magical creation of something from absolute nothing. It's the art of seeing potential building blocks, ready for assembly in everything around you. When you shed the burden of being original at all costs, you gain something far more valuable: true freedom. Let's look deeper. Every great film, every poignant book, successful startup, touching poem, revolutionary invention, absolutely everything that moves our world forward was born from the reinterpretation and recombination of what already existed. Take examples. Apple didn't invent computers. It reworked, transformed them, making them part of our daily lives. Instagram didn't create photography. It simplified and accelerated its sharing to an incredible degree. Shakespeare didn't invent love stories. He wove them with such inimitable mastery that they live on for centuries. You don't need to sit and wait for the grace of inspiration. It's enough to simply look around, pick up disparate pieces, boldly rearrange them, give them new meaning. This isn't laziness. This is pure, unadulterated intelligence. This profound truth is what Jung understood when he spoke of individuation. The sacred process of becoming a truly whole, integrated self. For when you wholeheartedly accept that every particle of the world is a part of you, and you are an integral part of all that exists, then the need to force creativity disappears. Instead, you begin to simply play with what already exists, allowing it to unfold on its own. So try this exercise. Its simplicity might seem deceptive, but it may hold the very missing link capable of forever connecting you with your true creative flow. Retreat. Sit in complete silence. Don't set yourself the task of being creative. Don't try to conjure or invent anything. Simply allow yourself to see. Look around. Gaze out the window, that's all. Release control over your gaze. Let your eyes wander freely, drift like a light leaf on a river's current. Your gaze will drift across the street. There's a parked car, and there, a rusty streak like a tear running down a brick wall. You'll notice a woman leisurely walking her dog. And suddenly, a tiny detail. She's wearing two completely different socks. Did she notice it herself? Or does she simply not care? The sky today might be that nameless gray color, unremarkable like a faded beige gray veil or murky water that has lost all transparency. Near the local shop stands a man diligently scratching a lottery ticket. Every movement of his finger seems like a desperate attempt to erase, to scrape away all the past from his life, down to the last failure and regret. The damp air is filled with silence, broken only by the soft rustle of tires gliding over a carpet of wet autumn leaves. And suddenly, right on your windowsill, there it appears, a tiny, almost imperceptible beetle. For one fleeting moment, this small speck of life becomes the center of your entire universe. You watch, mesmerized, as its mechanical legs tirelessly scurry like miniature gears. It pauses, moves forward, stops again, as if solving an unknown but critically important task. Where is it headed? You feel something, not profound but piercingly alive. It's pure presence. Just observing, noticing, feeling how the world around you simply is. There goes a bus. Its passengers seem stuck in their own unhurried time, as if in no rush, their gazes scattered, movements fluid. I myself feel somewhat slowed down today, as if my brain is lagging 2 good seconds behind my body and I feel a little out of sync with the world. A boy nearby chews candy with his mouth open. That wet, smacking sound makes me wince internally. Yet at the same time, I find myself envying his carefree simplicity. How I wish I could just chew without thinking about how it looks or sounds to others, without worrying about decorum. Behind dark sunglasses, a woman silently weeps. I pretend not to notice, looking away, but in truth I see every trembling line of her face. I'm sad too, but my sorrow is of a different kind. It sits deeper. How I wish the sky would erupt in a downpour simply so someone else could cry with me, dissolving our tears in a shared element. Imagine, this is intuitive writing, unfiltered, pure creativity where you don't search for a predetermined meaning. No, you find it, a deep personal meaning, in what you simply see. This isn't about creating art in the conventional sense. It's about complete conscious presence. And it is in this profound presence that you will suddenly notice how your most intimate emotions, like invisible ink, emerge through every written word. Here's an example. You watch a plastic bag, caught by a gust of wind, desperately spinning in the air. And suddenly it's no longer just litter. It's you, lost, stuck at a crossroads between your past and an uncertain future. Or you observe a neighbor's dog diligently digging the earth, trying to find or hide something. And in that simple movement, you recognize yourself, how you relentlessly again and again bury your own true voice. It's not necessarily poetry in the classical sense, but there's a deep, piercing truth in it. Each time you dare to write without a shadow of judgment, you open a sacred space, allowing your unconscious to finally speak. This is what Jung spoke about, the integration of the unconscious, not through violence or coercion, but through gentle, attentive presence. You don't need to try to be creative. Just be a witness, an attentive observer of all that is. And it is from this pure, unclouded witnessing that true creation is born. Try this. Dedicate just 15 minutes a day to simply observe and write. No prompts, no preconceived plan. Just allow yourself to ask, what do I see? What do I feel? What memory does this awaken? Even the most mundane boredom can reveal its astonishing beauty if you give it a voice. And this is where the genuine miracle, the real breakthrough happens. The moment you let go of trying to force something new out of yourself, you suddenly realize inspiration was always there. It was enveloping you. The world was never silent. You just needed to learn to listen to it differently, more deeply. But how do you transform this newfound inspiration into something far greater than mere self-expression? How do you give it weight, meaning resonance? The answer is simple and profound. Let's talk about purpose. For that very crucial spark, the bridge spanning from your inner world to the outer, is a deep, penetrating understanding of human needs. Not fleeting trends, not trivial clicks, but those deep, primal, often unexpressed desires and aspirations that live within each of us, pulsating beneath the surface of everyday life. The great Carl Jung, a seer of the human soul, spoke of archetypes, universal, timeless patterns of behavior, roles, energies that manifest within us. Be it the nurturing mother, the untamed rebel, the wise caregiver, the eternal seeker. And each of these archetypes, each of our deep roles is driven by nothing less than fundamental human needs. The need to feel safe, to be loved, to be seen, to constantly grow and develop, to feel a sense of belonging, to have true significance. And here lies the most striking, the very essence. Every truly brilliant, resonant idea that touches people's hearts and minds invariably addresses one of these deepest, unshakable human needs. It doesn't just speak, it resonates, it heals, it provides what is so necessary. Look at what truly touches your soul, that song playing in your headphones again and again. It's more than just a collection of notes. It resonates within you because you feel. It understands you like no other. That viral video that captivated millions wasn't just brilliant or witty, it struck a chord, expressing those intimate fears, secret hopes, or deep dreams that live within each of us. Or that product that instantly became a hit. It wasn't necessarily revolutionary. It simply masterfully solved a problem whose existence people weren't even aware of until they received its solution. So if you ever find yourself struck by creative paralysis and say to yourself, "I don't know what to create," reframe the question. Ask not what can be created, but what do people truly need right now? And seek the answer not just in market niches, but in the depths of their hearts. Herein lies the great secret. Your creativity can become food for the soul, a source of emotional and spiritual support. Your work can offer someone a sense of grounding and control when the world around them seems insane and chaotic. Your story can become a warm embrace for someone who feels alone in their grief. Your poem can give a name to that piercing pain someone didn't know how to express in words. Your tool, your bold idea, your honest writing, they can become that very saving bridge cast from someone's confusion to long-awaited clarity. And then, what you create ceases to be just content. It transforms into a living connection, a healing balm, a profound meaning. Imagine, you didn't need to create an entire new universe from scratch. It was enough to simply listen, attentively with an open heart, to what this already existing universe quietly, almost in a whisper, asks for. Let's get to the crux of the matter, to action. Perhaps you're on the threshold of a new project but feel lost, unsure where to take the first step. Try this. Take a pen, a blank sheet of paper, and write down 5 fundamental human needs. Reflect. Perhaps it's the desire to be heard, a sense of complete safety, a feeling of belonging, a yearning for inspiration, or simply a genuine need to laugh, to play, to be lighthearted. Now ask yourself a key question that will open doors. How exactly can I create something that will grant someone one of these deep needs? If you manage to elicit genuine, contagious laughter from someone, you have just filled their life with lightness, satisfying one of the simplest yet most important needs. When you show someone that their personal struggle is not a solitary path but a universal experience, you instantly give them an invaluable sense of connection, a belonging to something larger. And if you dare to express your truth honestly without embellishment, you can ignite a spark of courage in another person, allowing them to find and voice their truth. Thus, step by step, your creativity gains true, profound meaning. You don't need to chase grandeur or try to impress the whole world. Simply satisfy a genuine human need, and everything else, greatness, influence, recognition, will naturally follow. And finally, let's close this circle of wisdom. The great Carl Jung once said that the path to achieving wholeness is, in essence, the path to uncovering one's own creative essence. Creativity is not an action, not an effort that you make. It is a state, a profound permission that you allow yourself in the world. It flows freely when you release the need to impress, when you stop chasing external validation. It gains strength when you dare to be entirely yourself, embracing even your shadows and imperfections. It thrives not in the pursuit of absolute originality, but in the courageous reinterpretation and creation of new from what already exists. And its true magic unfolds when you realize that your creation can resonate with someone's deep need. You don't need to be exceptional or flawless. You simply need to be sincere and fully present. Moreover, your honesty can even extend to acknowledging how difficult it sometimes is to be honest. If these words have resonated with your soul, if you are ready to delve deeper into the world of the true, the authentic, and the spiritually grounded, then now is the time. Go forth and create something real, even if it seems imperfect, insignificant, or not fully formed to you. Because somewhere, to someone, that is precisely what is vitally needed right now.